Well, good morning. It's time for another episode of Notes from the Vicarage. This is Pastor Jay, and I am posting to you from the grounds of the Vicarage. I chose another location this morning, one with a little bit of an up look rather than a down look. This morning's already been a very busy morning. I posted on my Facebook feed a Facebook Live prayer time that our lead pastor asked the leadership of Cornerstone Church to put up. We're in a 40-day season of praying for our nation. This is a very important time for us to pray. I did that. I went to the store. I've done some chores around the house, and now I am posting to you, hoping to get this posted and up by this afternoon. I have staff meeting in a few minutes, so that will mitigate how much I get done as far as writing and blogging goes. I wanted to continue with an offshoot of the posts called The Glory of Story. I want to talk about innovation today, because innovation is very important to the power of story and to the work of art in general. As artists, as writers, as storytellers, we are called to always try to bring a new twist to the old stories that we tell, a new understanding, a new bit of truth that perhaps the world has not heard before. Yesterday, I posted and talked about the need to restore the elders so that we could have accurate history in the power of story in our art. And I think that that is absolutely necessary. But a discussion began after that with a friend of mine regarding how it's not just about the elders, it's also about the youth. And I said to my friend, yes, it's not about one generation over another. This is about generations coming to work together. The glory of story is only complete when the older generation gives to the younger, and the younger generation takes up the history that the older generation has to tell and begins to work with that story and apply it to their current context. The elders are responsible for bringing in learned and experiential wisdom that the younger generation doesn't have. And the younger generation is called to take the wisdom that the older generation gives in their stories and shows in their stories. And they are to take that wisdom and they are to apply it to their current context. Everyone knows that the world is changing. Everyone knows that the world today is very different from what it was 5 months ago. In fact, there's very few people left alive who have ever experienced what we are currently going through at this moment. It's been literally generations since we have had a worldwide pandemic. What is required? And so much has changed since 1918 when the last pandemic came. I am so thankful for the innovations that younger generations have brought to the forefront to help us during this season. Can you imagine what this pandemic would have been like without Facebook? Can you imagine what this pandemic would be like without YouTube and the ability to make videos or to make Facebook phone calls or use your Apple iPhone to FaceTime your relatives? Imagine what it was like back in 1918 when people could not. They were put into isolation for months, and there was no television. There were barely record players. There was no computer access. There was no internet. Imagine what that world was like, and think about how much better our world is today because of the innovation of younger generations coming up and bringing their context into our midst. I'm so thankful for the innovative spirit that the younger generations have brought to the world, and that's their role. In the power of story, the younger generation needs to take the wisdom from the older generation and apply it in innovative and new ways to the current context we live in. There's no one who's going to tell a story of exactly how to do life in a pandemic. There's no one who has that wisdom to offer for the most part. But what we do have is we have stories of times when people were sick and when people were even shut in. And we have the ability to take the stories from those contexts and apply it to our current context and say, well, here's what happened then. How can we make it better now? And that's on the young generation, the generation that has strength and energy and a new form of insight into the current situation. Story becomes powerful and artistic expression becomes powerful when people from both generations combine what they have together to become a corporate whole, to actually do life together. Young people and old people binding together to bring what they have to the table, and each generation mutually respecting the other ones for what they have, and allowing those things to be used to change the world. Well, I look forward to your comments. I look forward to what you have to say regarding this, and I look forward to the conversations we're about to have. God bless you from the Vicarage. Have a great day.